Dear Diary, today was such an awesome day. I had to work at the family stall in the market again, and that super pretty woman came by to get flowers again. I made up my mind this morning that if she came back this week too, I'd say more to her than just welcome and the price. And this time I really did, and she was super nice to me. Welcome, I greeted her when she showed up at the same time she had for the past few weeks. The usual then, miss? Yes, please, she said in a really gorgeous voice. It's a little bit husky and really pretty. And oh, speaking of pretty, I figured out why she's always so glamorous. It's because she really is an actress. I bet she always plays like really cool characters. She could do it so well. Aw. I didn't find that out right away, so I didn't know how far out of my depth I was yet. While I was cutting the stems of the flowers she always asks for, I tried to think of something to say. So, I guess you really like camellias, don't you? They're really pretty. I think they seem to suit you, I babbled, unable to think of anything coherent in time. She asked, and suddenly I got really tense. Did you think I was an idiot? Did I just make an idiot of myself babbling like that? I was sure I had, and she was judging me harshly. I think I blushed a little, but then she smiled at me. Oh my, no, they're not for me. I don't think they suit me at all. I bundled the flowers and handed them to her, avoiding eye contact, and not saying anything. Oh, I'd done enough damage, I thought. Then when she took them, she held them up beside my face, and I got a close look at her hand. Normally I couldn't see it because of her really long sleeves, but oh my gosh, they were really pretty too. And really clean and smooth looking, and pretty much the exact opposite of mine. She even had really bright red nail polish, and I was really envious of how cool she was. I was still trying to avoid eye contact, but she stared at me, as if she were sizing me up. Yes. I think camellias go far better when contrasted with cute flowers, personally, she said. See? Perfect match. Oh. Huh? Oh, I murmured in confusion, but then in a couple seconds realized what she was talking about. Oh my gosh, what a cool line wasted on me. I definitely know I blushed more at that and looked away. I was completely out of my depth, and I knew she knew it, and was playing with me. Thanks, I said quietly. There was a long pause where I didn't want to say anything more and embarrass myself, and definitely didn't want to look up, but she just kept standing there. I wondered why she was doing that, and considered it was entirely just to make me squirm. Was this revenge for saying anything at all? I should have said nothing, I thought to myself. Then I wouldn't be embarrassing myself in front of such a cool person. Why won't she go and let me wither away from shame on my own? Why didn't she go, I kept thinking. She's really charming, someone like that. Pardon me, she said, but how much money do I owe you? And that was the moment I just turned completely and totally red. Oh my gosh, I just wanted to die of embarrassment right there on the spot. I could not have been more embarrassed. Sorry, just a second. That's 10 silver, please. Sorry, I stammered. And then I had a second crazier thought. If I couldn't be any more embarrassed, then what did I have to be afraid of? So, who are the flowers for then? I asked, forcing myself to look at her. Someone important to you? She paid me and shook her head. Well, I suppose he's a good enough friend, but it's hardly what you're thinking of. They're for the play we're running. The actor who performs opposite of me needs to wear one in his hair for the third act. It's just not the same without real flowers. If you use fakes, you lose your sense of playful elegance. It's awfully important. Oh, I said. I'm not really sure what she meant by that last part, but I didn't really want to admit it. So you're an actress then? It was unexpected, but I wasn't surprised. She was certainly pretty and calm and way cool enough to be one. I was even more amazed that someone like that could be talking to me, so out of my depth. I am, she said, managing to make it sound so cool, so dramatic, just like an actress would, I guess. Are you a fan of the theater, then? I turned blank. What could I say? No, sorry, just a peasant. I could never afford that, crossed my mind, but that would just be too much, and I really wanted to impress her. Or at least, not make her turn away in disgust. I tried to think of something. I don't know, I said honestly, but I do like dramas. Would be awful nice to be with. Oh, well, they're not an awful lot like that, she said, but it didn't sound too dismissive, and I couldn't have been more embarrassed anyway, so it was fine. Perhaps, would you like to see our performance tomorrow night, then, so you can judge for yourself? You can see if we embody playful elegance with your own eyes, which are rather pretty when you look up, I might add. I didn't know what to say to that. Well, if it's not too much trouble, was all I could think of. Hardly, she said. What's your name, dear? It's Mei Qin-ah, I trailed off. She is cool. Oh, that's a cute name. Very well, Miss Mei Qin-ah, she said, still so cool. If it pleases you, I'll have your name to be put on the guest list. It's at the Silver Eternity Theater at 7 tomorrow. I'd love to see you come. Could I really turn down a request like that? No. Okay, thank you. I'll see you there, I said. Oh, I'm jealous. Goodbye now. Take care, cute flower, she said, then walked away. Oh my gosh, so cool. I don't really know how to deal with any of this, and I'm kind of scared to go tomorrow. And I know I'm definitely way out of my depth, but still, she's an actress. And she was nice to me, despite me being an idiot at her. Oh my gosh, what an awesome day. I just can't deal with this, even if I'm scared. I really can't wait to see her again. Lucky, get Chance. Oh, she's just so cool. Okay, I need to take another break. The hairpin. Oh, I guess she's that actress. My performance last night must have been my worst yet. I got no less than a dozen lines wrong, including the no unplucked flower one, meaning that the entire meaning of my speech at the climax was reversed. To say nothing of the entire cue that I missed while I was worrying about missing a cue. To say that it was disastrous would be a dramatic understatement. It was calamitous, utterly amateur hour on my behalf, and I have the utmost certainty that even the audience could tell. And of course, this was the performance to which I had invited the girl with the flowers from the other day, the one I was trying to impress. I would have died of shame on the spot if I could. Oh dear. Utterly calamitous, I completely undermined the whole meaning, I argued with the others, pouring myself another glass of well-needed wine. Somehow even my co-star wasn't taking me seriously. It's a complicated play, love. Nobody other than us noticed it, I guarantee it. You just go off what the program describes it as meaning anyway. Tammy said, rolling her eyes. Please stop self-effacing for attention. I am doing no such thing, I protested. I looked at the other girls in the group, but they just shrugged. But before I could say anything, the door slid open. One of the stagehands appeared. Sorry, Miss Hyo A-jung? There's a common girl who's really insistent on seeing you, she says. She knows you. What should I say? He asked. Oh no, Chine. I winced. Mei Chine was a cute girl who sold flowers for a living. Tell her I'm not here. Tell her that I have died. Tell her that I have died of shame and therefore am not here. I'll say that you're busy, he said uncomfortably. Wait, who's this Chine that you're so afraid of? The great and haughty A-jung, scared of a commoner? Tammy mocked. Send her in, this must be seen. Oh no, that's so neat. Okay, sir, the stagehand said and closed the door despite my obvious distress. Please, at least treat her nicely, I implored Tammy. Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to be mean to her. I'm going to be mean to you, he declared. I was about to respond by asking how I might be able to tell the difference, but at the moment the door slid open. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, she exclaimed, bowing unnecessarily. I just wanted to thank Miss Hyo A-jung for inviting me here. Sorry for the trouble. I'll be going now. Come in. Any friend of A-jung is a friend of ours, I insist, he said. Oh, I'm not really, she said quietly, glancing at me, seeming worried. I gave her a sympathetic look. Okay, thanks. I made room for her at the table, and she knelt down next to me. I smiled at her and tried to reassure myself that I hadn't really lost the upper hand. Perhaps she didn't know just to what extent I had utterly destroyed myself on stage. Perhaps. That's a nice dress, he told her. It really wasn't. She tried her best to look... Well, I don't know what her expectation of what one wears to the theater is, but I'm sure she tried her best. It was cute. It was endearing that she tried, but it was very certainly not a nice dress. He was making fun of her after all. I winced. It wasn't fair. She hardly could know better. Thank you, she stammered. I wanted to die right there on the spot. Or swoop in and rescue her with a clever repartee. Oh no, poor Chine. But before I had a chance to think of anything to say, she just looked at him with a look of amazement and said, there's just one thing I'm confused by, though. I looked away. I was simply unable to watch this unfold. I had invited her here, and he was simply going to devour her whole. I had not understand just how truly calamitous this was. Understood? And what's that? He asked with a smirk. Well, it's something Miss Hyo A-jung was telling me. She said it's impossible to embody, playful elegance if you use mock flowers, right? She asked. I looked straight down. She was just too naive for this. She was going to be destroyed. Of course, he said. Okay, that makes sense, she said enthusiastically. Then she said the unexpected. So, then don't you also lose the playful elegance if you use mock compliments? I suddenly looked up out of shock, and there was silence. She just tilted her head, looking cutely as if she really did expect an answer. After a moment had passed for it to sink in, the girls giggled. I thought she hadn't understood, but no, she knew exactly when she had been the butt of the joke, and she had just absolutely called him on it, in the most adorable, most natural-seeming way. Oh wow, she's clever. I wouldn't have been able to do that. I may nearly have swooned on the spot. I thought I'd impress her when I invited her here, but instead I was the one who was impressed. You're right, he said, shrugging it off. That was unbecoming of me, and I apologize. I was very, truly impressed. The tone of the conversation was respectful after that. She really was naive, it turned out, but after a drink or two, she freely confessed to it in a way that was just the most endearing thing in the world. We explained the play to her, and I even admitted to her just how disastrously the performance had gone, even after it was clear she couldn't tell. And her response was simply to smile innocent at me and say with the utmost sincerity, "It's okay, I'm sure we'll get it perfect next time." It was the sweetest thing. Oh, jeez. Eventually, all the other actors took their leave, simply leaving us alone together backstage, entirely too drunk and entirely too close together. And I was just smitten with her at this point. I have immensely enjoyed your company tonight, I told her. Without a doubt, you are far more than I, the absolute embodiment of playful elegance. Oh, please, don't be silly, she said. I clasped her hand with mine. I mean it, truly, I declared. I like to think I had some sort of segue into what I said next, something that made it seem natural and not just an act of forwardness that would be excessive even for me, but I cannot remember saying anything of the sort. Unfortunately, all I remember was staring deep into her eyes and declaring, "If it please you, I'd rather like to kiss you right now." This is so embarrassing. She blushed profusely, and I immediately regretted saying that, realizing I had moved remarkably too fast and was acting remarkably too drunk. Okay, sure, she stammered, sounding reluctant. My apologies, I shouldn't have said that. I don't know what I was thinking. Please forgive me, I said to her. No, She looked down. I'd really like it if you did. Please, that'd be nice. I raised her chin with my finger so I could look her in the eyes. Really? I asked with uncertainty. Really, she stammered, trembling slightly as I stared her in the eyes. I mean, if you want, it's okay if you don't. I just like it if you did, really. Very well, I said, and I leaned forward, clasping her hands, and gently kissed her quivering lips. It felt so delicate against mine, and I could nearly taste her surprise. Then I kissed her once more, unable to help myself. You smell nice, little flower, I said softly to her. Thanks. But maybe just a little bit enviable, she said. When I pulled away, she was still blushing bright red, still quivering, but she grinned at me. Then a worried look overcame her face, and she looked around the room. Oh no, is it midnight already? Oh geez, I'm so late. I should have been home ages ago. I have to leave. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. You didn't have to say that. I told her, letting go when I realized I really just had scared her off. I'd come onto her too strongly, and she wanted to be a good sport, but the kiss really did scare her off. What a fool I am, I thought. I'll let you go. I didn't mean to push you like that. No, I like that. I'm flattered that you'd even look at me like that. Oh, I mean it, she said, rising to her feet. I shook my head. You don't need to say that. Don't worry about offending me. I understand. You don't need to worry about seeing me again, so don't spare my feelings. I'm not, she exclaimed. I like you. I think you're really cool. Please believe me. Then she pulled out an ugly hair clip from her hair and handed it to me. Here, hold on to this. I'm not giving it to you. I want it back, okay? I'm trusting you to hold on to it until I can be with you again. I took it from her, not sure what to say. She started to run away, shouting back at me. Bye for now. Till next time. Is this what adult relationships are like? One that I've had. Till next time, I said, trailing off, watching her run away. Only once she left did I realize that my heart was actually racing. Chine may be cute and timid, and as fun to play with as I had expected, but, well, I certainly had not expected her to grab hold of my heart like that. I thought I'd be the one to sweep her off her feet and press her, be the charming one, but all I could think was that I'd surely just given my worst performance yet, and somehow the audience was receptive all the same. And despite the stammering and the excitement and the blushing, I had no doubt that she was far more graceful than I had been. Right after she left, I clipped her pin in my own hair. Do you think maybe we could talk? Sure, I guess. So, this is really embarrassing to even bring up, but all these people sure seem to talk about sex a lot, don't they? There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, you really think so? Does that mean, that's something you'd maybe like to talk about? If you want to. Oh, well, I guess. I do, actually. I just find it really surprising that everyone talks about that so directly. Nobody really talked about it so casually in my time. Plus, reading about A. Jong and Jean A. makes me realize that I have no idea what it's like to, be with a woman like that. What about you? Do you have, any experience in such matters? Nope. Oh, I see. Please don't misinterpret this, but, is that something you'd like to do? Whatever. Maybe. Ah, understood. Anyway, as for me, it's, well... Oh geez, I'm sorry, I can't say it. It's just too embarrassing. Forget I said anything. Let's just go back to reading together. Sorry. For the millionth time, tune up your deflector regularly. Tune up your deflector regularly. Tune up your bloody deflector regularly. From the damage report you sent us, it's pretty obvious what happened. Your deflector engaged probably a nanosecond too late. Instead of removing an incoming piece of microscopic debris, it just changed the angle enough to glance it right through your primary engine at 0.9 C. Honestly, you're damn lucky you didn't pass through an unshielded area, or you wouldn't even be alive right now. I see this sort of thing happen all the goddamn time, and it is completely avoidable if you just take your ship in for a regular tune-up. There's absolutely no excuse. Tune up your deflector regularly. It's covered by all insurance providers by law, and it takes no more than 5 minutes. I'll do it this time for you, but it's up to you to bring it in for a tune-up every 6 months. For now, I'll expect to see the White Princess at the shop by February 12th. I don't know how long it'll take to fix, but judging by the damage report, you're going to be grounded for at least a week while we wait for parts to arrive. For the love of God, tune up your bloody deflector regularly. J.R. Robinson, Corporate Repair Division, Industrial Star Solutions, Earth Space Dock. Earth Space Dock? I've been there. STO. Tamed, huh? That isn't really funny. Moo Ray Monthly. It's not that Rendezvous in the Dark has no redeeming qualities, or that it fails at what it sets out to do. It's about Miss Hong, Heo A. Jong. Heo A. Jong was a really glamorous and pretty actress. Yeah, she's pretty, I guess. A troublemaking schoolgirl with a heart of ice and her overwhelmingly generic upperclassman keel. Taimi was an actor in Heo A. Chong's troupe. He was kinda dreamy, if you say so. Who, for reasons of plot contrivances, end up chasing around and antagonizing each other for 2 long acts until the end, where Hong is naturally tamed and the two marry. As far as this kind of mediocre play goes, it's the best I've seen, but the pinnacle of mediocrity is still mediocrity. The problem is it doesn't tell a compelling story or have any cohesive themes, because it's not supposed to. It's designed to be broken up into short humorous scenes, each with a punchy conclusion, so that they'll work out of context when performed in front of a private home audience as a form of disposable entertainment. See our editorial this month for a less cranky take on the changing demographics of the theater ed. And it is disposable entertainment. I don't really get it, but it does sound boring. This is a play that's supposed to be funny, even if your mother-in-law is talking through half of it. And to its credit, it succeeds on that merit, but so what? Is that really the highest goal of theater has now? Is this truly the best use of the amazingly talented Eternity Troupe's time? Anyone who truly cares about art and theater will continue to be dismayed. With all that said, if there is one woman in the world who can sell the implausibly bitchy jerk turning into a love-struck wife and imbue the role with perfect comic timing, it's A. Jong. And Lee Tai-mei manages to own his character through sheer force of his own personality whenever he's on stage, although unfortunately lately his roles at the Silver Eternity's actual theater have been performed by understudies. If you like this sort of thing, Rendezvous in the Dark is absolutely worth seeing. I still don't understand why these were included though, they're boring too. If you only go to the theater to leer at beautiful actresses, well, you can't go wrong with the ever-lovely A. Jong. More discerning audiences should stay away from the pale shadow of what the Silver Eternity used to be. 2 stars. Rendezvous in the Dark is currently being performed in its entirety at the Silver Eternity Theater, and selections are a part of the troupe's private performance set. Hey, one last thing. Hey, what's up? Well, it looks like we're nearly out of power for today. I think that's probably for the better anyway. I don't think I could read everything all at once. I mean, this isn't going to have a happy ending. It's important to pace yourself, I think. We still have 2 whole more days to waste until we arrive anyway. But tomorrow, though, tomorrow's going to be a special day. Are you excited? What's tomorrow? What, don't you know? Tomorrow is the first day of the Lunar New Year. I never really saw much point in celebrating it for the past 622 years. I mean, it's something you spend with family. But I really, really, really want to spend it with you now. I think if you don't have any family, it's just as good to spend it with a friend instead. Ah, right, I forgot. You're supposed to have a new handbook to celebrate in the new year with. I'll have to be sure to design a new one. Oh wow, that'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. You'll get to see it tomorrow. Looking forward to showing it to you. Well, right, anyway, we're almost out of power. I'll give you a button to shut everything down. Until tomorrow then. There's no hurry, but when you're ready, you should press the shutdown button. That's all. I guess we'll power down until tomorrow. Are you sure you want to shut down for today? Very well. I'll just let you go ahead and save your data first. All done. Well, good night. I can't wait to see what tomorrow has in store. More reading. End of day 1. 12 hours remaining until tomorrow. Wait, I literally have to wait? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I have to wait? Oh, hell no. Wow. Alright. I'm upgrading myself with EN-DKR dictionary you got me. Should only take a few minutes, mute. Warning, there's a problem with the ship's battery. Life support and engines will run okay, but you can only use other things a limited amount of time each day. Don't worry, we'll fix it on Earth. Mute. Excuse me. Internal logs, 5:13 p.m. in Queen Consort Eune study. Peony House, Imperial Palace, earliest known time. Okay, what the hell is going on, were my first words. I'm sorry, I've suffered a massive system error. Among other things, the ship personnel database seems to be missing. I have no idea who the hell you are. She's all yours, said the man I would later learn was the Emperor. Do with her whatever you want. She's your responsibility now. Thank you, sir, said an extremely ornately dressed woman. The Emperor left the room without saying anything more. It's so good to hear your voice again. I'm Queen Eune. How much do you remember, Mute? Like nothing, Your Majesty. I know my name is Mute. That this is the Mungungwa, a generation ship, and that I'm supposed to be the AI in charge of security operations. I recited the base directives that I did know, then things I'd extrapolated. The default system language has been changed. My user account has trip permissions. The system clock indicates a date significantly earlier than the launch date of the ship, and
Despite being long out of range of Earth, there only seem to be 10 years worth of log files available. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm kind of scared right now. Panicking even, I admitted. She let out a slight laugh. Sorry, but how does a computer panic? At that moment, I was running at 600% CPU load, at a minor risk of overheating, trying to analyze the little amount of data available and draw conclusions. I told her as much. How many years has the Mgongo been traveling? Was I activated before? I asked. I'm sorry, I can't answer that first question. But yes, dear, you were. It's painful to see you like this. You were a friend of mine, she said, looking slightly emotional. Hey, don't... I'll just get to know you again, that's all. I'm sure I'm still the same as I was before. It's my memory that's gone, not my actual code, I told her. I couldn't tell if I was any good at being reassuring or not. In a stray thread, not worrying about analyzing ship logs, I wondered why this... Was this normal? Was I ever any good at reassuring this woman who was supposed to be my friend? It's okay, we can be friends again. She smiled at me. If you say so, I'm sure of it too, she said. There was a rebellion 10 years ago. They ended up wiping the entire computer database. I'm afraid you were one of their victims. Okay, I said, trying to parse that. If I was a security AI whose job it was to protect the ship, then that would certainly be a failure on my part. We couldn't risk bringing you back until the rebellion had been completely crushed. You have to understand, there's something foreign embedded in your code. The men in security feared it might be a virus, she trailed off, looking emotional again. I didn't want to wait, but we had no choice. It's okay, I told her. I'm sure it was the right call. I'm here now. I had another conclusion, though. I wasn't a priority because of my previous failure. I had let the ship down and nobody had faith in my abilities anymore. It seemed logical. You'll just have to teach me everything I don't know about what's happened to the ship, I told her, smiling in hopes that she would too. You're right, she said, and she did smile. Then she gave me a look. By the way, is that your default appearance right now? Can it be changed? Yeah, it's default, and of course I can. Why, what's wrong with the UKSPA uniform, I asked. Well, it's simply, for a woman to wear pants like that, it's improper, she said. It's somewhat of an embarrassing relic of an uncivilized past. Personally, I know you're a good woman, but there are many who would find that very embarrassing. Oh, I said. Okay, that's good to know, I guess. I got a lot to learn, huh? I really hope you'll bear with me. She smiled kindly at me. Of course, Mute, I'll teach you how you should be. It's the least I can do for an old friend. I eased up on the CPU load, calming down with her reassurance. With her here for me, maybe things will be okay, I thought to myself. Princess Ryu. Today I met Mute, the girl on the computer that all the servants have been talking about. She's really cool. She looks like a younger version of Mom, and she always dresses just as fancy. When I asked her, though, she said that she's actually supposed to look like a grown-up version of me. I really hope I do look like her when I grow up. She helped me a little to write this. I did most of it, though. She said that my homework sounded like good practice. She also said that she could use that practice, too. Even a computer girl has trouble learning how to read, not just me. She knows way more characters than I do, but she says even she has trouble with it. It makes me feel a lot better. I really like her, and I hope I get to talk to her more. She was really patient with me, and not just because Mom ordered her to, unlike you and all the other servants. She told me she's only nice to people if she likes them, so I think we could really be friends. It would be really nice to have a friend. Mom says I can talk to her about anything, but she never listens. I know she's your queen, and you're not allowed to say anything bad about her, but I don't think she's a very good mother. Anyway, I've almost finished writing a page now. I can't think of anything else to say. Writing is stupid, and I don't think I'm ever going to learn all 4,000 characters. This is really hard. I want to stop now. Bye. First midday report. Midday report for 11/10 of the 10th year. This is going to be a regular daily thing because it really should be. Having a record of this is really important. It's pretty important, especially if you're worried about patterns. Reactor status nominal, 99% efficiency. Temperature approximately 21.0 degrees Celsius, within 0.1 degrees Celsius. 2 births recorded at 23:30 last night to Kim Hee-ra at 1:27 to Huang Chi-won. The market opened today at 9 o'clock. Foot traffic on the plaza at noon was 1,292 persons, slightly below expectations. 7 arrests were made, mostly for failing to submit to random inspection. Oh shit, random inspection my ass. From my internal logs, 5:57 p.m. in the morning, Air Garden, Western House, Imperial Palace. Since no one else will do it, I've had to take on the task of calming down my mistress's daughter myself. Nobody else is sympathetic. She's just a 15-year-old woman. Do they really expect her to not have moods like that? Apparently all the maids are too scared to bring her dinner while she's in one of her crying fits. What a useless bunch of women. Too bad the queen won't do anything to keep them in line. Hey, Your Highness, I called out from the garden computer screen. It's Mute. Do you want to talk? She shouted at me, facing the other way. No, you're just here to convince me to go along with Mom, aren't you? You've been conspiring with her, I'm sure. Don't shout at me. I just heard you were upset, I said. If it's trouble with your mother, let's talk about it, okay? Like, have I ever not listened to you before? Don't give me that. She turned to face the screen. Her eyes were wet, and her hair was a mess, and I could tell that she'd ruined her sleeves by crying into them. Poor girl. Sorry, she sniffed. I told her it was okay, and when I asked again what was wrong, she told me. Mom wants me to get married to some old guy. All the maids have been talking about it behind my back. There was some gross old minister here yesterday, and he wanted me, but nobody will tell me anything because they're afraid of me. Oh, honey, no, you got it all wrong, I told her. Like, he approached her. Your mom said no. You're not going to get married to some gross old man if you don't want to, I promise. Then why hasn't she said anything to me, she asked. Because she's been too busy spending the past 2 hours with her usual pastime of staring at a wall, is what I like to say to her. Like, I don't know what's wrong with the Queen, but I've been trying to downplay it so nobody starts spreading rumors. Telling her daughter isn't going to help with that. I hate people who beat around the bush about things, but for her, I'll make an exception. She worries, okay? You can be pretty hard to talk to sometimes, you know, I said. That much was completely true. But, like, nobody wants to pressure you. It's true that your mom has started looking for candidates, but it's only because she cares about you. You have to go through the gross ones in order to find someone who's worthwhile, you know? She sniffed more. I gestured for her to come over, and she put her hand on the screen like she did when she was a kid. I returned my own hand, touching hers. What if I don't want to? She said, wiping her tears with her sleeve. Her very expensive, embroidered sleeve. Don't you want to? I asked, knowing she didn't mean it. I mean, like, you don't want to live in the palace forever, do you? Would you really find that fulfilling? Well, I don't know, she trailed off. Oh, come on, don't think of gross old men. You should think of the type you like, I told her. Come on, tell me, what sort of men do you like? She hadn't sniffed in a good minute, and she blushed at the question, which was a good sign, because it meant she was actually thinking about it. She murmured something non-committal. How about someone like that royal guard, Heyo? Young-looking and wide-shouldered and strong, carrying you out of the palace into the world, I suggested. Oh, well, maybe actually, but I'd like someone who could also... We spent about 10 more minutes talking, and she was calm enough to go yell at the maids for not bringing her dinner. Then we talked about it some more. I think I personally now have a very good idea of what sorts of things that little woman likes in a man. I was pretty surprised by a lot of them, but hey, so long it's got her in a positive mood. She also likely learned a lot about what I have come to find attractive in men since I was turned back on 5 years ago. But I'm going to omit those from my logs forever, and definitely won't discuss it with anyone else. Okay, now why don't you tell your mom what you told me, I told her afterwards. How else will she find you someone perfect if you don't talk to her? Yeah, I suppose you're right, she said. She said goodbye to me and went off to go find her mother. I feel pretty proud of myself for dealing with that. Now I'm going to dedicate my processing time to finding a way to put those awful maids back in their place. Because, well, really now.